this target letter that we now know about seems to confirm at least some elements of that prosecution memo that would be unlikely to be a target letter without using some of what we've read in that prosecution memo.
That's certainly right, Lawrence. The prosecution memo was an extraordinary document, very comprehensive, and the aspiration of those who wrote it was to cover the waterfront, to look at all of the charges that could plausibly be brought and as to which there could well be proof beyond a reasonable doubt of Donald Trump's guilt. But from the perspective of Jack Smith, the special counsel, less may be more. That is, he may want to bring a streamlined case focusing on targeting certain very much easier to prove offenses, conspiracy to defraud the United States and interfering with witnesses, perhaps intimidating them and obstructing an official congressional proceeding. Whether he goes further than that, charges, as I think the evidence would support, and as that remarkable, elaborate document that you began with indicates, whether he goes further and charges aiding and abetting an insurrection is hard for anyone to guess. My supposition is that even though Jack Smith could prove that, he may decide that because the clock is ticking and because Merrick Garland waited so long to appoint him, and because there is so much catching up to do, he may decide to go small rather than large, to look through a narrow aperture, take a clear target that is easily identifiable, easy to describe to a jury, so that even the risk of a hung jury is almost out of the question. I think if I had to bet, that he would take a narrower approach.
Yeah, and one thing I want to make clear to the audience is these prosecution memos, generally, they're written within the Justice Department, memos like this, and they're written for superiors who are not directly involved in the case, who have to review it and consider every element of it. And they include arguments against indictment. They include attempts to poke holes in whatever prosecutorial theory they are advancing. They are their own critics as they present the case.
That's right. That's actually something that I've always taught my students throughout the time I was teaching law. The best way to make an argument is to put yourself in the head of your opponent and make the best argument you can against your position. That's the only way you can really thoroughly understand where a judge might be coming from, where a juror might be coming from. You don't want to be simply an advocate cutting corners, making the strongest argument, wearing blinders. And that's what a good prosecution memo does. It explores all the arguments pro and con. And that's one reason why it's, in this case, almost 300 pages long.
Is there a strategic point for Jack Smith to consider to indict Donald Trump alone with no co-defendants, because co-defendants on their own can create their own delays in legal process?
That's right. One reason that we don't know of any other target letters, that all the other people who undoubtedly conspired with Donald Trump to achieve what he did, one reason may be that Jack Smith has decided not only to have a narrow case against Donald Trump, but to avoid the circus of a bunch of defendants with all of their lawyers and all of their arguments about why it's not fair to try them together, about why this or that defendant is entitled to a delay. People who might be unindicted co-conspirators, who either are cooperating as witnesses against Donald Trump or who have struck deals with the special counsel, possibly even being given immunity, they will strengthen the case against the ringleader. And although some people might desperately want to see a number of other people brought into the fold, it may be that Jack Smith has decided to go after the king alone, not all of the king's men.